to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Janet Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about Pragmata, revisiting Slay The Spire 2 to talk about our Twinsies runs, which we will explain what that means in a bit. You can kind of guess for games. And then we were talking about travel for not games, but in a more general sense. We've done episodes that talk specifically about like, oh, here's our trip to, you know, Chicago or Seattle or whatever. This will be more of a general overview, inspired from the very short trip we just took to Chicago, which apologies on missing last week's episode. Probably should have flagged that before because I think we kind of knew going in, but it's, I don't know, maybe the optimism of like, what if we got something recorded really quick? Yeah, usually that doesn't work when we have trips, even if they are small, but that's what we'll be getting into. Isaiah, how are you feeling? How's your heart? How's your spirit?
Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, feeling pretty good. We have missed a couple gym days this past week, so feeling a little stiff. But we also got that massage, so you know, feeling a little loose.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Jeez,
it's been a long week.
Been a long week. Yeah, I'm glad that you actually enjoyed getting the massage because I know you're not the biggest like I want someone to touch me kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, you get kind of skeeved out by that. I know a lot of people can relate to that feeling. Kind of, I don't know, it creates a tension that makes it so that you kind of can't relax. I on the other hand love, live and breathe massages. If I could get massages all the time, if I was rich, there'd be signs, and that sign would be I'd have a regular appointment to be getting
personal
a massage,
masseuse just waiting on you hand and foot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with the gaming, like your hands and arms get sore real quick.
That is true. Yeah,
they get real tore up.
That's a good
so, yeah. All right, you ready to talk games?
Let's talk games.
We finally have gotten to Pragmata. I have finished it. I finished it some time ago, kind of near launch. I played it a little bit pre-release, leading up to the embargo, and then wrapped it up. And then you finally made your way over to Pragmata. I feel like you were working on a game before then, and that's why you were waiting. I don't remember what that was.
I mean, to say working on it, I think it's strong. I think I just kind of got sucked into a marathon for a bit. That was kind of like my go-to whenever I have like a night of gaming. I'm going to boot that up, play a couple rounds and stuff. But yeah, no, Pragmata's fun. I'm having a good time. It's, for those who don't know, it's kind of like Capcom made it, and it very much does have like almost like a core essence similarity to like a Resident Evil in gameplay, but without like
can you
the
tell me more
horror
about
elements.
that? Because I don't really resonate with this, but you're not the only person that's mentioned like it feels Resident Evil-y.
Yeah, I think it's because it doesn't have like the inventory management of a Resident Evil, but it does have the like inventory scarcity of a Resident Evil, where you you have a primary gun that sort of has unlimited ammo, which is very un-Resident Evil like, but it has to like recharge, and all of your other guns and weapons and everything like can you can run out of ammo. Like you can, you know, use all your shotgun shells and then you no longer have the shotgun. But you can like pick up another weapon if an enemy drops it, or if you find it in like a box or something like that. So to me, like that's what I mean by like Resident Evil-y. It also because of that, it's not a like spray and pray kind of gunplay game. Like it's a very much let me try to line up and get like a headshot on the robot, or like hit the weak point on the robot, because I only have, you know, six pistol shots before I need to like spend 15 seconds recharging or something like that. Yeah, and it's not scary, but it is a little thrillery, where like you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's around the corner. You don't know if a big robot's going to drop from the ceiling, or if pop up from the floor, or like you don't know where your next enemy is going to come from. So there is always a little bit of that tension there, but again, not in a horror kind of way.
Before we get more into like the mechanics of this game, kind of what makes it differentiated in the space, because it does have a very unique gameplay twist, do you think you'd feel that way if it wasn't made by Capcom? That you'd still draw that conclusion?
I think so, because
Okay.
I felt that, and then I clocked that it was made by Capcom and was like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't resonate as much with the Resident Evil-ness of it. I do relate to, I think it was Jeff from MinMax that made that comparison, and specifically with the way the robots move towards you, because it's kind of like stutter steppy a little bit.
They are a little zombie, yeah.
And that I'll give you, but everything else feels like this is simply kind of an arcadey shooter, you know, like with this fun little like gimmick to it. Like I think the way you zip around, also how arena based it is, really makes it like there's many ways that like I don't see the Resident Evil DNA in this, but I wanted to have asked you more about it because I know that, you know, a lot of people brought that up, so I was curious where you stood on it. As far as the gameplay mechanic twist goes, it is, you have to hack the robots in order to like really do damage to them. So the gameplay is based on two components. One is like you shooting your guns or like different weapons that can do different things. It's funny, the weapons are kind of almost like, they're not this goofy, but they kind of feel like Ratchet and Clanky, like very like Gadget Gizmo-y. Yeah. Things like, oh, you can, you know, freeze enemies in like a net kind of thing, you know? And the big part is like you have this puzzle mechanic that functions similarly to a lot of sort of decoding puzzles. Like it's not the same as the BioShock Ooze, but it has kind of it reminds me of that, and that's grid based. So basically what you're doing is using the PlayStation face buttons like square, triangle, circle, etc. to move around the grid. If you go through certain nodes before hitting the exit of the grid, different things might happen. Like maybe you get like bonus damage, or maybe you pick up an extra like thing that can like modify combat slightly. Like there's different strategy that goes into how you maneuver around the maze. There's also like things that you can't pass through or things that you pass through slowly. So as gameplay progresses, the kind of maze puzzle gets a little bit more complex. But that is the flow of the game. And you're doing them both at once in a very like almost, it's all gameplay, but it almost feels like that Subway Surfers joke of the like you're doing something and then Subway Surfers is on the other end. Like it's very attention grabbing in that sense, where you're always doing a little bit of something. There's always something to be thinking about on the battlefield, and it makes combat really unique and exciting. It's interesting watching you play this and having you come and play this after having heard about this game from me, hearing about it in general, and then also like you would see me play it sometimes. How does watching it, how is it different from like playing it? Because I know when you were watching it, you were kind of like, hey, what exactly is going on? Like, did it kind of all click in once you got your hands on the sticks? Like, how was that like for you?
Oh man, a little bit. It definitely plays differently than it presents, in that like in my head it is, when watching you play, it felt like there was like so much going on all the time. You're zipping around, you're double jumping, you're boosting, dodging, hacking, stunning, doing all these like actions. And like you do that, but when my hands are on the controller, it's very much like a one thing at a time. Like in my head, like it's not as juggly as I thought it was going to be from how it looked. It's very much, okay, I'm going to shoot. Okay, let me back away a little bit. Let me hack. Okay, shoot. Like it's more methodical than action-y, which is also probably why I kind of feel like a comparison to Resident Evil, where that also feels very like intentional in your actions, not just like action arcade game. Like I agree though, it is like very much an arcade game and just how fast you move and the versatility you have in movement. But yeah, so I don't know, it definitely threw me off, and it was different than what I expected, but not in a bad way, just in like it's actually way more manageable. Like when you're in control.
How do you feel about
you do find some arenas though that like do throw you for a loop.
Yeah, well, I guess since you brought it up, let's continue there. How do you like or dislike the difficulty of the game? I'm assuming you're playing on normal, but obviously jump in if you're not playing on normal. How has that been for you?
So far, so good. I know when I beat the first like level, and you were surprised at how quickly I got through it, I think, or like you mentioned something like, oh, you're there already kind of thing. And in my head I was like, oh, I don't feel like I'm going fast, but like I guess looking back, I was kind of just like speeding through it a little bit, at least, probably because I already knew a lot of the premise and everything like that. Yeah, I'm playing on normal. I think every once in a while you get into like they have like these like kind of harder arenas in the game that are like intentionally more difficult. And I'll get into one of those and die one or two times before I can finally beat it. And I usually beat it when I just take things slow and not try to just do too much at one time. So like it's not a difficult game, but it's not a mindless game either. You know what I mean? Like if you try to play this game for me at least, while like listening to a podcast or like paying attention to something on the side, as confusing as that sounds, because the whole game is like you hack it. Yeah, a third Subway Surfer. If you try to do that, like I would not be able to, because I need to have focus on it. I just don't need to have like sweaty moments while playing it.
Yeah, I felt pretty similar to it. It is, I think, a challenging game. It's not like obscenely hard, and it does have, I believe it has an easy mode, so you could always just toggle that on. But yeah, it will push back, specifically those challenge arenas that you mentioned, that where you need like the red card to get in. Like those are genuinely challenging. Partway through the game, maybe like in the first third or so, they unlock training modules, which you've seen in a lot of different games. They remind me a lot of the Final Fantasy VII remakes.
Yeah,
have these. I mean, that by no means is the first time I've seen those in a game, but like it reminds me of those in that it takes the approach of being very much like, here are very simple assets. Like the enemies are in it. It feels very like tutorialized and stripped down, but those can be like quite challenging as well. They have like different tasks. Some of them are platforming challenges. Some of them are combat challenges. So yeah, the game definitely pushes back. And I find I don't know how many boss battles you've done yet, or if you even know. At least
I
one.
I just did my second.
Yeah, I find
each one for each level, I think, basically.
Yeah, I definitely find those to be nicely challenging. Like I never died at any of them, flex, but I definitely got like really close, kind of like within a sliver of my life kind of thing for a few of them, which was really fun. Like I think they do a good job with the bosses of making them feel like just wildly in line with everything else you're doing. Like a big critique I have of boss battles in games in general, especially coming from like the platformer background, is sometimes it feels like, and now here's the boss, and I'm like, you don't really got nothing to do with what we're doing here, which is like, you feel that more in platformers where you're mostly just jumping. So it's like, how do you turn that into like a big battle? You step on a special button, it's like, it kind of sucked. Here, obviously, it's easier because you have like that shooting element, but I think because they do the enemy weak points thing, but they're not like wildly obsessed with that. Like when you're fighting the boss, like you have a lot of autonomy on when you're doing damage, how you're doing damage. Like it's not like you're I personally don't really love boss battles where it's a lot of avoidance and then it's like you have one opportunity and then you kind of go back. Like that formula is kind of stale to me. And this is a great job of like keeping it exciting. I think the fact that they have the weapons in those crates, like you mentioned, you don't really know what you're gonna get, and like all of the weapons have like color associations, like and mapping associations, like like which part of the D-pad, but they're different styles, so they're like kind of in like similar genres, but they can perform very differently. It's like, oh, this one's actually like a charge and release, like this one's like a quick shot, but it's like close range. So I end up having like ones that I favor, ones that I have upgraded more, and it does kind of make it so that like there are times where I would be in a battle and I'm like, well, the only thing left is these level 1 things I never used because I never liked, fighting with it, but it's this or nothing. So let me try to, pick this up and see what I can make of it. So I really enjoy that element of it. Yeah, it's a pretty damn good video game, turns out.
Yeah. I'm excited to play more. I find I don't care about the story as much as I thought I would. Not to say that like the story's not interesting or boring or anything like that. It's just like in my head I thought I was going to be getting like The Last of Us with like this whole adult child kind of symbiotic relationship kind of thing. And really it's not. It's much more.
It's a few of us.
Man, yeah, it's man and tool. You know what I mean? Like they try to make me have this like daughter connection. It just doesn't work on me, and so I don't know, and that could just be a me thing, right? Like I totally understand other people are gonna go and be like, oh my god, she's so cute, I love it, blah blah blah. It doesn't work for me.
You don't find her cute?
I mean, yes, but then they do like dumb weird robot stuff with her every once in a while, and it's like they
the
pull me out. They're like, oh yeah, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, this is not a girl. It's yeah. So.
Which you can't love a child robot. You can't be buddies with a little child robot. Do you are you charmed by her drawing the pictures for you?
I do like the pictures. That is very cute and adorable.
Okay.
It does like lead me to think like, well, that's kind of weird though. Like if you think about it too much, I get weirded out by it because it's like someone had to program her to draw poorly like a child. Like that's in the lore of the world. It's like you couldn't have made her just Picasso. You know what I mean?
Oh, that part I'll kind of give you, I guess. But there are
charming.
some. I won't spoil it, but there are like lore reasons for like her being a child at all that you like get into later, which is really cool because like otherwise it is kind of like, bro, who made this
check
child?
the hard drive.
Like, yeah, it does check the hard drive without the lore, but like I think the lore does make it. I mean, it's by no means going to be like a wow. This is now a really deep, like moving story. Like it's nothing like that, but it does make it like, oh yeah, okay, like this explains why she's a child, which is cool that they have that. Lore I don't stand behind is the lore for why she's not wearing shoes, which I don't think you've reached yet.
No, but I've seen it.
But I did tell you about
online.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skip like 1 minute ahead if you don't want to hear the lore about the shoes. I'll just tell you the lore about the shoes. It's that she charges her battery through her feet on like the floor or whatever, and then Hugh is like, oh, but you're like on my back so often, like do you need to charge? And she's like, oh, the battery lasts like a really long time. And I was like, y'all were reaching and you did not grab it at all. I do not buy this is strange.
Also, you could have just made her wear shoes that conduct electricity, or like
literally she does not need to
so many options.
Yeah, and then people will say, well, kids often like to be barefoot, and that is true, but like, come on, man. Why you send this girl out there? No one Reddit exists.
Check the hard drive. Like, all right, that's all I'm gonna say is.
And then not just that too, but none of her. I think very later, like maybe like end game or super late game, there's costumes that give her shoes. I give her a costume where she has like, she doesn't have a shoe, but she has like
it's like a legging,
like a weird
kinda,
sock
like
thingy.
Yeah,
I gave her that weird sock just to give her a little something, you know. She also doesn't have pants. I mean, she probably does have pants, but her shirt is so long, which again is a little kid thing, but like. Bro, give her pants. So I got her with the leggings with the feet thing. So it's like, okay, please, let's get this together. Gosh, that actually distracts me so much. So a quick thing on The Last of Us of it all. It's funny, we had this conversation a lot on Remap when we talked about this game, where like Patrick was of the mind of, you know, people were saying the story's like whatever, but like who cares? It's like an arcade game, like which. I do think it's true. I still think the story should be like critiqued, but like I do think ultimately this is a game that like it's not about the story. And to take it a step further, as far as like the Last of Us element of it, because that was kind of like the debate of the like, oh, people are expecting this to be like the Last of Us, but like not everything kind of has to be that, and that's true. But I do think the way they sort of presented it, the marketing they did on it, and I think also just the inherent heavy association that they had with PlayStation. I think they kind of want it to be like, it does end up being an apples and oranges comparison between the two, but I think they wanted their apples to be next to the oranges so that you might think it's an orange and you might want to like buy it more or have it more. Yeah. Like I do think they wanted to be, I don't think they had the writing chops to be put in that conversation, but I think they liked that placement. They liked that kind of thing because it is a very, I mean, it's like one of the most, you know, beloved games ever and iconic stories. Like I think they kind of, I think they kind of liked people wanting a bit more from it, even though they did not end up delivering on it.
Which, speaking of, why is it? Do you think it's because? And I'm sure the answer is exactly this: is like, oh, because like game developer people who grew up playing games are now becoming parents. We're getting so many of these like adult child games in the last like decade or so. Like, even the last like 2 years, like Donkey Kong was last year's kind of like dad game, right? Where you're carrying around this child. Yeah, this year we got Pragmata. Before
Make
like
Paulina
what
rock
is
again.
Up with that?
Please. I think it's just I think it's a lot of things. Sure, people like having families, but I think it's also just a I'm trying to think of like the other comparison point of this. Okay, I think it's just a like regularly used, and I don't want to say easy as if they're not putting effort in, but I think it's just an easy trope to pull on. I was thinking about this a lot earlier today, actually, because I was watching, I was scrolling through TikToks, and I saw one that was talking about The Big Bang Theory, a show that I personally like never got into, but I know like some people really like. What, you know, I'm not here to
really
debate how good or not good Big Bang Theory is. I know it's a contentious sitcom in the sitcom community. But something that I was thinking about was they have like the classic dynamics of like these guys and then like the girl, and like that's a very common thing in like so many of these sitcoms. And I don't think that's because like everyone had like a friends to lover situation. I mean, I think that's also a very common like experience to have like in your life. You know, tropes come from like so much of art is like reflecting on like things that actually happen, you know, in relationships and between people. But I think that's kind of more so what it is. I don't think it's necessarily like all the dads are making games. I think it's just a like, hey, we want to have like two buddies. Like, what are ways we can do buddies? And like some type of adults, or I say guardian, like guardian child is like a classic, especially in the game industry, like construction. And I think that's just more what it is rather than the like, obviously I'm sure there's a little element of it where it's like, when I had my daughter, I realized women were people. I'm sure some of those guys are making games and, you know, whatever, dude. Yeah. But I think it's more the tropiness of it all. Like the same way, you know, earlier we had the main character and like the buddy sidekick. I think it's just kind of another take on that. You know, we had Ratchet and Clank, we had Jack and Daxter. Now we have father-daughter. And that's just kind of another thing for them to like, when we're reaching in our story bag, this gets picked up a lot.
We have father-daughter with, you know, this and Last of Us. We have father-son with God of War. I want mother-child. Give me like, you know, let the next Lara Croft have to bring around. Oh my God,
no, not Diva Down.
Teach them the ropes. You know what I mean? Like that'd be cool.
I mean, I do think like woman mentee or whatever. Like in general, I think, you know, not to get too off topic, but like we don't get a lot of anything of like women in games. Like sure, and I know people will come out and be like, oh, the Jill Valentine, the whatever, like, you know, like and list me all the women and be, you know, they'll give me their binder full of women and tell me that I'm wrong. But in terms of like variety, because we inherently have like less women leads, like we have like less women anything, right? So like when you think of what are the dynamics that you have, there's not a lot. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's more room to explore because we have not explored very much. I know there's been some conversations around like the mother games. I'm trying to think of which, I mean, I don't think she was a mom, but even just the fact that like I didn't play enough of it. You beat Returnal, you can tell me about Returnal. But like Returnal just having like an older woman, it's like that was like fucking cool, crazy and cool. Like it seemed like she was a cool character that had like, you know, trauma and like like give me like a fucked up old woman like who has a gun and give her a gun.
Also, who does not have to like self-sacrifice themselves at the end to save the child. Like I think that is also a bit of an important take.
We had Hornet with the Silksong abortion storyline, which I never got in my playthrough, but
what?
It's semi spoilers for Silksong. It's so I mean it is kind of an abortion. Like it's like I don't know. It's obviously the people are kind of like hamming it up slightly, but what happens is it's a really cool like side quest where Hornet goes to a character and they have like a baby, and the NPC says, do you want to hold the baby? And then you can say, I think you can say no, but like you say yes, and then like the baby's like this fucked up parasite that like attaches. That's how you can get the like the fucked up crest. I forgot what the crest does, but whatever. And then to get it removed, you have to go on this like long like little journey. And then when you get it removed, you sit on a table and they have like all these fucking spike things that like you're like strapped down. And then like the spikes go into like her stomach like a fuck ton of times. And then it's like, okay, this is going to hurt. And then when it's over, I think she says something like, that was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. And then the baby's out of you. So people call that the abortion quest line in Silksong.
I mean, okay. Yeah. I sure. Okay. It never clocked with me that was like what.
Oh, did you get that quest line?
I got that quest line, yeah. And sure, okay. Yeah, I also read very little dialogue at that point in the game. I was very much
no.
What's the next thing?
Again, obviously, like you could, there's different ways to kind of think about that quest line in general. But yeah, like a lot of people call it the abortion quest line. So we have that. So in a way, she's the mother that never was.
Yeah.
She is mother. Okay. Anyway, but any other Pragmata thoughts that you want to get off your chest before we talk a little bit Slay The Spire 2 Twinsies?
No, I'm excited to play more. I think I don't know if it's fair to say I'm approaching halfway through, but I think I'm like kind of in that 40 to 50%.
Yeah, it's a pretty short game too. For AAA standards, at least.
Bummed that the trophy, the platinum, is like locked behind difficulty. Why? Stop doing that. Why are we still doing this in 2026? Come on now. Let's leave that in the past.
I know. I'm so mad about it too because I hear there's like post-game content, like not just like New Game Plus, but like an actual like little, I don't know much about it, but like maybe like a little area or something that you can do. And it's just like, I like the game a lot, but what am I playing just for fun? Like a sucker? No, I don't want to do that. I wanted to get my little trophy. Yeah. And then I even lightly considered, I'm like, could I do the hard mode? And I probably could, but it's like, I don't think I want to do that. So that is a bit of a bummer as well. Just to really quickly put Capcom's children against each other. This or RE9. Obviously you haven't finished this, but I think you've seen, I feel like you've seen enough. Like it doesn't have a lot of differentiation in like gameplay feel. It kind of is like you play an hour of Pragmata, it will technically get a little better, but only like a little bit. It's kind of like, do you like chips and salsa? You might get another salsa that you really like, but you're not going to get a different food. It's chips and salsa.
Yeah. How long the rate is pretty low.
Yeah, I think like an hour you're pretty comfortable.
I would probably Resident Evil. I think that it just
in the pocket of
which
Leon.
is I guess is a kind of a mother-daughter game, right? A little bit.
No, I mean don't even get me started on this fucking babysitter bullshit that Resident Evil loves to tout out here. Stop giving me these kids to carry around. I don't like it. I don't like it mechanically. Yeah. I don't like it.
I like Buff Baby.
I do like Buff Baby. Yeah.
I think RE9. Not that like I don't think the gap is huge by any means. Like, if one is like an 8, the other is like a 8.5 kind of thing. Like they're very close. They might even be the same. You know what I mean? Like just what's your flavor? Like which one do you want?
What's your
I go Resident Evil.
Tell me what's your flavor? Who made that song?
I don't know. It's like
something I look into.
Like a Fanta or something like that. I don't know.
Is it? No way. Is it now a real song? Is it just for an ad? What's your flavor song? I have to type really quietly. Craig David. I've never heard from you, Craig David. Holy cow. 2002. Okay, anyway. I say stop talking about what's your flavor for 1 second. Let's talk a little bit Slay The Spire 2 Twinsies. I think we're starting to press on too much Slay The Spire 2 content, but I don't think we're quite there yet. So please indulge us. I think we'll have this and then probably not again until 1.0, and then we can kind of do our like definitive Slay The Spire 2 review or whatever. But we set out my 10
for later.
Yeah. Like that meme, like the meme of all the dolls holding the 10. Isaiah, what is Slay The Spire 2 Twinsies?
Slay The Spire 2 Twinsies is a self-imposed, almost like a Nuzlocke in the Pokemon world. It is a self-imposed rule of beating a run in multiplayer where everyone is the same character. And we are only 2, so that's why it's twinsies and not like triplets or quadruplets or anything like that. And twinsies is also fun. But yeah, so we set out with the goal of beating the slaying the spire with a pair of each character, and it started off incredibly hard. It got incredibly easy, and then it ended incredibly hard.
Yeah. Though our win
just
was
based
easy,
on the characters.
so it was kind of.
But our win was easy. Yeah.
The first time we ever did this, it was just simply to see if you were allowed to. Slay The Spire 2's multiplayer, you can select whatever characters. You guys go on a run together. You play, to a degree asynchronously. Like there is not turns. You don't have to wait to do your turn. You have the enemy, and then you guys as a unit have your turn. When everyone's done with their turn, it's the enemy's turn. What that means is that you can, just for refresh for people who don't know or missed the episode where we talked about it, I can just do attack, and then end my turn. Isaiah can go. We can go at the same time. Obviously, it benefits you to have some communication with your teammate because, for instance, maybe don't attack yet. I want to apply vulnerable first so that your attack can do more damage. There's other things to consider, like if we all just attack, maybe the enemy can die instead of like someone being like, actually, I'm going to block for the damage. It's like you don't have to block for damage if you kill him. So there's a little bit of communication there, but it is kind of unique in that you can kind of just go. But like with any game, there's that question of, can you be the same character? Some games let you do that. Some games don't. We very quickly saw, we can just have 2 ironclads. Cool. And I think the first time we did it, we got our ass beat really, really bad. It was either ironclad or necrobinder that we tried it with. And we lost. I
thought we just went
so
in
badly.
only with Orby.
No, we had somebody that we first did the Twinsies with, and I don't remember who it was, so it could have been Orby, aka the defect. It was so bad. I remember thinking, clearly they balanced this game so that you shouldn't be doing this. That's like how badly we did. Like, I don't know, died a couple like fights in. Like, I don't even think we did Act
like
1.
Regular
like, the first
enemies.
Time we did it. Yeah, and it was just kind of one of those things where like, because they are the same character, they have the general same deck of cards. It's kind of, and then also you start with the same starter deck. So it's like a lot of just the same stuff in a way that ends up being, it can be hard to play off each other because you're playing the same cards a lot of the times. And I think that was like quite the challenge. We continued on to do just our general, like, because we also do general pairings of like, we want to do co-op for all the stuff. So it's like at one point I'm ironclad and you're someone else. I'm Orby and you're someone else. So we did all of those. And, now it's okay, back to the Twinsies. There's got to be a way to make this work. And I think to your point, that's where Orby came in. When we restarted, like, okay, Twinsies for real, it's all we have left. We did the other stuff. Then we started with Orby, which was, I think that one was pretty rough. I remember that being kind of hard.
Yeah. We died a lot of times.
I don't even know what ended up being the winning
I think it was
strategy.
Just like lightning chain, if I had to get, or a block. I went super block, and then I think Orby can get the body slam, right? I don't think that's exclusive
that's
to
Ironclad.
Is it exclusive to Ironclad?
I thought it was, but maybe it's not. There's also like fun things you can pick up along the way in this game. Like there's like a relic that lets you get other colors, like other card colors. Yeah. Which I know I don't think you won that time, but you at one point you had like Orby with Regent's Sword or something.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Which was really fun. But yeah, after many attempts, we finally paired as Orby, and then after that, like, floodgates were open. Isaiah, tell me about how those next couple of runs went.
We finally beat Orby after like legitimately maybe like 10 to 15 tries. Like, it was a lot of failures. But then we were like, all right, cool. I think we did Necrobinder after that.
Yep.
Right? First try, won. Immediate. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. The stars aligned. Everything was great. I was dooming. You were dooming. We were end of days in. It was a fantastic combo. We were able to work off each other. After that, Ironclad. First try. Beat it. Boom. I'm blocking. You're heavy attacking. I'm blocking. We got this synchronicity. We're dancing.
Which my big thing with Ironclad 2 was the vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was applying a lot of vulnerable, and then I had I don't know what card it was or whatever. I had a thing where I had an attack where it hits extra for every vulnerable on the enemy, and then I also had like relics and like powers where it's like enemies get 75% more damage when they're vulnerable. Like, everyone was so vulnerable to me. I was literally on a tirade. Also, I checked the tape on because I posted something on BlueSKy with the Orby run. It was really tough because I actually died during that run. So another fun thing about the multiplayer is you can die. Like, anyone on your team can die. We just need one man standing basically. And if you do die in like a regular battle, the next battle you heal to like, I don't know, 1 or 5 HP, like not much at all.
I think it's just 1.
if you die at the end, it's like as long as someone wins, like your team wins. So I died, and I did have a lightning build. I was so mad when I died because Voltic, which is a card that triggers lightning for each lightning you've basically like created. So it's like it can really stack in a really cool way. It just didn't come up again. It was at 54. That's what it would have triggered, which for people that don't know, it does like 3 damage per enemy. So it's like an insane amount of damage. And I had a power where my first card played twice. So I was going to end up doing so much lightning. And then you had to clutch the last 100 HP against the boss we were fighting, which was the queen. So yeah, little build lore for that.
Oh yeah, because and I went block because I kept saying Roblox because I was like a robot.
Yeah, that was your thing. When I'm a blocker, I call myself Block Obama. That's usually reserved for Ironclad because Ironclad has a thing where you can, every character can block, but Ironclad has a card called Body Slam, which you can upgrade to cost nothing. So you can basically play it every time, and it's you deal damage equal to your block. So it's like the perfect thing because it's like I love playing conservative in these games a lot of times. It can be my undoing. I've tried to kind of ease up on that over time. My colleague Jacob Geller once said to me, I think when I was in my Slay the Spire 1 era, you have to remember that your health is also a resource that is meant to be spent and that you can and should spend. And that I've tried to remember that when I'm playing because it's so tempting to be like, I can block all the damage. It's like, no, it's better for me to attack and like get hit for 2 anyway. But Ironclad, boom, next up. Silent. How did that go?
Silent, first try, immediately. I don't know why. Maybe it was just like, again, all of this is kind of like luck of the draw, right? A little bit of skill is obviously involved in that you need to like be able to see the strategies and like execute on them. But like something about you're applying Doom, I'm applying Doom, and then one of us would get like End of Days, which is like it kill or not Doom, poison. You're applying poison, I'm applying poison, and then like somebody would get something where it's just like double or triple the poison attached to an enemy, or pass the any debuffs applied to one character gets applied to all characters, or something like that. Like we would just find ourselves in these situations where like just the stars would align and we'd inch by with the win. So first try, not easy, but fun. Straightforward. We were in our bag. We were in the zone. We had 4 wins back to back at this point. I posted, we are too good at the game. They're going to have to rebalance it, which they are actually balancing it all the time because it is a beta of the game. And then finally... And they heard you.
We went back to one of our most hated characters, Regent. We're just both bad at Regent. I'm particularly bad with the defect. Like, we looked at our stats last night. And I don't know, your defect, which is what we call Orby, it's the robot automaton that has like the orbs. I don't know. You had like a normal thing of like, I don't know, 4 wins, 12 losses or something. Maybe it was worse or better than that, but whatever. Meanwhile, I had like 3 wins, like 24, 32. I had like an insane amount of losses. Like everything I tried to do with this guy just never worked. I think that what's challenging with Orby, and then we'll talk about what's challenging with Regent, to me is that I feel like there are so many directions that Orby can go in. I kind of have a hard time locking in on a strategy because, like, without spending too much time explaining it, it's like he has like lightning that can like hit each enemy, and then when it gets triggered, it attacks one enemy. He has like frost, which can create shield. He has like a thing that can create energy, which is what you use to play cards. He has a thing that like does more damage over time. He has a thing that does damage, but it lowers each time. He can expand his orb slots. He can consume orb slots. Like, I feel like, and some might say, oh, that actually makes him the easiest character because there's so many options. Some might say that makes him the best character. I'm not really here too much to debate too strongly on, who's better and what's better. There's just like the characters that I find easy. And that's the thing about Orby. Regent is kind of similar in a way. I think his strategy is a little more clear, and we ultimately won when I had been doing some different strategies with Regent that didn't involve forging, because I found, so I guess explain, what is forging? Why do you hate Regent? Like, just pick it up a little bit, because I don't even want to get started on this guy.
Regent has this mechanic called Forge, which is he can summon, the first time you forge, he summons this big sword, and every time you forge thereafter, it just gets stronger. And then like eventually you'll get a card that lets you then do the sword attack. So it's kind of like a build up, engine building kind of mechanic where like the first time you do it, and it's kind of expensive you start each turn with 3 energy and it costs 2 energy to use the sword, right? So it's kind of an investment if you do want to use it. So yeah, like you generally slow build up to like a really big sword, and then you can come in and swing it and kill something, hopefully, right? I have been, that is like one of his main mechanics. He has other ones where like he summons minions and like transforms cards, and he's
Creates
a big like
cards.
deck management kind of character where like if you have like the right cards where you can like move a card from your discard into your draw pile or from your hand into your discard, or like if you can manipulate where your cards are, he has a lot of other mechanics that also play really well into that, where it's like every time you draw this card it gets stronger. So if you can draw it, put it back in your draw pile and draw it again, like you just quickly boost up how much damage this card does, or vice versa, or like things like that. Forge is the one that I think is the simplest to understand, right? Big sword, get bigger, you swing big sword, kill big thing. It took a while for us to hone in on the synergy there of like, hey, what if we were both just forging? What if you went all in on Forge and I went all in on Forge, and then I got this beautiful card where when I forged, all of my allies also forged. So like, not only am I getting like a bigger sword, but then I'm giving you a bigger sword, and then you got this card where you're like, my big sword hits like 2-3 times, and I got this card where it's like, oh, when I swing the sword, I get blocked. Like it was a beautiful dance. Finally everything lined up. Yeah. It was just fantastic.
And y'all, I don't want to be too vulgar here, but the way my sword was so fucking big, they have no idea. Because I had specifically, there's a power that lets your Sovereign Blade hit an extra time. Powers in this game can stack, so I picked up that card, and then that power came up again, and I said, what if I did again? Now you can definitely get lost in the sauce on the like, people call them like power builds. I've never done like a full power build where like I just have nothing but powers, but I usually pick up, a couple different ones. And then the relics can also be in kind of conversation with the powers in cool ways. So like I really came up on a lot of things. Honestly, hot take, I kind of underestimated money in this game a little bit, because I got a power card at the start of our run with Regent that gave me 30 gold like every time like the match was done or whatever. And I just got that because they were like, get a random rare card, and that's the card I got. And I was kind of like, I mean, it's not bad, but like whatever. And honestly, I think that gave me like a lot more autonomy to buy stuff though. And then I also later picked up a thing where I couldn't get potions, so then it's like, well, I'm never tempted to buy potions because like I can't get potions. But I had picked up, it didn't end up helping that much, but I had picked up a relic that was every time I spend stars, which is a currency that Regent has for like playing his cards, I gain strength. So I also was like gaining a lot of strength, which I didn't have that many attacks because I basically went all in on sword. I had like literally 3 attacks in my deck like by the end of the match. But then I also got like the scarf, which means every 5th card I play is free, and most of my cards only cost 1 energy. So I could make it so Sovereign Blade could be free. I could make it so that like that also counts for your some cards that require stars. They have like an energy cost and a star cost. But when you can play it for free, both those costs are 0. So it's like I was able to do stuff like star stuff for free, and that was like also very like big.
Which I think is like a recent bug they fixed, where there like at one point it was only the energy cost became free when a situation like that would happen, but the star cost stayed the same.
Yeah.
And people were like really complaining about it. Understandably, like it's supposed to be free. Free is free. So yeah, I was very excited to see that was the case.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, not to take the dev side, I can understand it still costing stars. And frankly, maybe it should with the stuff I was doing. But like I think there's a different argument for each. I think if nothing else, it should be like cost 0 energy. It should be clear on the card. That's like one of my big beefs.
Yes.
Whenever I have an issue with this game, it's a perceived lack of clarity in the card description, like for instance, or in like like how the thing happens. Like there's a card that I really hate. I should just go on the Reddit and start being like, I could just complain and see if Mega Create, will you fix this? But there's a card that is with the defect, aka Orbi, where it's you lose, what do they call like the orb power? Focus? It's like hit all enemies for like 25 or something, but lose one focus. And I just presume that would be for the turn. But that's like for the whole, that's like permanent for the combat encounter.
For the fight, yeah.
And I'm like, maybe that's like my bad for assuming that it would just be the one turn, but I'm like,
but everything else
is
yeah.
Like a lot of times it is one turn for these things. So I'm like, I think that needs to be a little bit like clearer. Yeah, there's just like a couple things that like I would like to see a little bit clearer. But yeah, this was with Regent, I feel like his big thing is the sword. Like that's kind of like a big part of his character design, like a big part of, I don't know, what you're sort of presented with as a player. And in the first few times we tried Regent in the modern era, I was trying to just do other cute things. I'm like, I'm gonna be a star build and I'm getting all these stars, because there are card attacks that like really benefit from stars, like X stars, and you can do a bunch of damage and stuff like that or whatever. And nothing was working, and I said, let me just do what they want me to do, which is do the sword. And the first time I try it, it's like the best thing ever. And it's great. And we won, and it was actually really easy. By the end, which is crazy. And we did very few elites, actually. We only did 2 elites. Yeah. So I don't know. We found something special last night with the region stuff. So I had to come onto the pod and share our tales.
Talk about it.
Hopefully it's entertaining to even people that don't know Slay the Spire 2. I know it's always a little weird when it's like very in the weeds of like, especially a game like this where it's like, and then I used Sovereign Blade, and it's like, bitch, I don't know what the fuck that is. But hopefully, I don't know. It sounds like it makes a little bit more sense and can be interesting. It is genuinely like some of the most fun I've had like co-op in a video game. I think it's just it's so easy, it's so breezy. I think it's just the right amount of like, you can kind of do your own thing, but you can also pull in your teammates. And I don't know, it's exciting. Like it does have those opportunities to clutch things. Yeah, it's a good video game. It's really good.
Yeah.
So
I would actually love to maybe do some like streams of it.
I know, that's the thing we're missing. The thing we're missing.
Because it's so fun. And then at this point, we just probably do randoms. Like, like we just go in random and see what we get.
Yeah, or we could try the Ascensions together.
That is true. Random Ascension. Why not both? We really lock it.
Yeah, there's a lot left to do. Yeah, I really like this game. We need to eventually get a 4-stack going at some point. I've never done all 4 character, like 4 of the. I've never done a squad of 4. Again, the often cited fails dramatic, but like the min-max new show plus, where it's supposed to be the 4 of us, but Jeff's internet went out. And then we like played without him, and then we won, and I felt so sad. I was like, no,
he was only there
supposed
in spirit.
to be there. And then also I'm like worried about the next time we do 4-stack, because I'm like, if we don't win, it's gonna be like, ooh, what's different? Even though I actually did not feel like I performed that well in that stream, because it was very early into the game even existing, and I feel like I hadn't, I do feel like I'm inherently better at the game now than I was before. And honestly, this has me considering going back to Slay the Spire 1, but I'm also worried that like it's gonna ruin how good I am at Slay the Spire 2. Not that I'm like wildly like cracked at it or anything like that, but I think that might be my next move, because I never killed the heart, and there's got to be a fucking way to do that. There's got to.
I thought, I guess maybe not, right? Yeah, because you got to it a couple times.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Enough times where I was like, I need to stop doing this. Because also like playing from start to end is not short. It's at least an hour, if not more.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe now I can figure it out. The heart just has too many things going on.
I'll go back to it. I'll join you.
They don't have a heart equivalent in this game yet. That is
we know of. Yeah.
I assume, and frankly, would be disappointed if they didn't, because I just feel like that is what they've set up. They at least need to have something, because that's kind of like it's now a franchise, and I feel like that's the structure they've set up for themselves, of like this kind of ending versus true ending. So we'll see. They're busy at work over there at Megacrit, but
yeah, putting Bing Bong in the game.
Putting Bing Bong. Bing Bong. And now for the not game section of the show, we are talking about travel, our tips, doing the classes versus Airbnb versus hotel, how things have changed and not changed over time. The iconic, are the red eyes worth it this time around? I'm not so sure. as well as our worst travel moments, and also just some travel goals we have, destinations we want to go to, ways that we want to explore travel. You know, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago that we did the train from LA to Seattle, but you know, we've
really
had
fun.
a couple of little moments there. Let's start with the basics. You got a trip to go on. You need to pack. What is your packing process? I finally achieved my lifelong dream this trip of packing the day before. I don't think that I've never or the day before that I need to pack. So if I'm leaving, we were leaving on Thursday night for red eye, I packed on Wednesday.
Yeah.
First time in history that I packed, minus the stuff you can't pack, like the
24 hours
toothbrush,
before
you gotta pack that.
before the trip.
Yeah. Well, I guess a little bit more than 24, but just before I really okay, you kind of need to, because there's that point where it's I literally need to pack because I need to be able to leave. Normally, I end up still packing during that time. I finally was able to pack ahead. But what about you? What's your general packing process?
I think in general, I'm a plan ahead kind of person, but I don't do the packing until the day of, or if we're leaving at a 7 a.m. flight or something like that, I don't pack until the night before kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because, one, I don't have too many clothes, so I'm usually just wearing stuff, doing laundry, using my toothbrush and everything like that before I pack. So I don't want to pack anything too much, and then I'm living out of my suitcase at home for an extended period of time. And then also I'm a fairly quick packer. I don't, it doesn't take me long to just, grab a couple outfits, throw them in a bag. Yeah.
I'll be halfway through packing and then you start and I said he's gonna finish before me.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think this is just because I care less about how I look than you do. If I get a solid color t-shirt, some shorts, or some pants, joggers or something like that, cool, good enough for me, let's go. You have outfits, I have things that I wore that day.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think I don't know, I just take a long time. And I posted about this on BlueSKy the other day, but I was I don't know why, because I really don't even own that many clothes. And I don't buy clothes that often. I recently bought a couple pieces, and that's kind of a little bit of a rarity for me. I would like to get in a more semi-frequent cadence of thrifting and stuff, but a lot of the clothes I've had for years, and yet when I have to go to pack, it's I've never made an outfit before. And I have my wearing app that I've talked about before on this show, spelled WHERING. It is one of those digitize your closet, make outfits from the app kind of apps. There's a couple different ones that are doing that. Wearing's the one that I have used. Haven't tried the other ones. Can't speak on how it compares really, but I like that a lot. But I've also I end up falling on and off of it depending on what season of life I'm in. And right now I haven't used it very much. I'm okay, I really want to get back into using it. So sometimes I'll make outfits in there. I've done a lot of different chaotic things. I've also done I know what I'm wearing, but I don't exactly know how I'm putting the outfits together, and I'm gonna make the outfits on the plane, where it's I know what pieces I brought. I know they can make outfits. Let's not worry about what earrings go with whatever. I'll do that on the plane and then kind of make stuff in that way. But I mean, it's hard to plan too much ahead because so much of it is weather contingent and also
Sure.
activity contingent. You could technically make a 2-day uniform where it's hey, I just have these sweats and these sneakers. I know sneakers can get me through anything kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, you might be limited. In our case right now, we did the Chicago trip we did was for a wedding. Right away, that's auto filling up that. Because I really wanted to go light. I'm can I go really light? I was could we just have one suitcase that we share and I just have my duffel? But we could not make it work because it's once you add those shoes into the mix, the shoes take up a significant amount of space.
Yeah.
Even with me being a tiny person, but
the suit jacket is also a space taker,
huge.
Right? You just logically you can't fit. You only fit so much space, so much stuff into a certain amount of space.
Yeah. It's I don't know if I wore my suit on the plane or something. I mean, I wore a dress, but it's I wore my outfit on the plane. Maybe that could save some stuff. So yeah, that kind of auto fills in some things. The out and back wasn't too bad though, because I did keep it pretty small. Sometimes I also cheat with my trip outfits where because most of my tops are like on the smaller side because I usually wear like tank tops or like tight fitted like thin long sleeves tops. They don't take up a lot of space, so sometimes I will cheat and like, okay, maybe I have 2 days, but I brought 4 tops because they don't take up much space. I can kind of decide when I'm there what top I'm wearing. Like sometimes I'll do that and cheat a little bit in that. What, if any, key sort of storagey things do you have? Like, I feel like you're not really putting stuff into containers. You're kind of just putting stuff in to baggies. I don't really know what you're doing over there. I feel like your suitcases are also pre-packed. You kind of have like a pre-packed suitcase in a way.
Yeah. So just to show where my priorities are, I have like some stuff that I just are like my travel version of things, and I just like leave it in my bag. Like I have like a charger set up where it's like a singular, Anchor wall plug, but it has like 2 USB-Cs and like USB-A, so I can charge like my watch, my phone, and headphones or something like that, right? Like it just or a laptop in my phone and headphones or whatever, right? It's just enough that like when I'm traveling, that's all I really need. That just stays in my luggage, never comes out. It's always there. I used to have a travel toothbrush, and like, toothpaste, hairbrush, like, sort of like these like, toiletries that I would just like leave in my luggage. But I think there was like one trip we did where it was a car trip. Like I think we were probably driving to just like SF one time or something like that. And it was like, oh, well, now I can like bring my full size toothpaste and not the travel size because we're not getting on a plane and TSA isn't going to make me throw it away or whatever. So like that stuff kind of got all mixed up and I need to like reconfigure that. But in general, I am get a travel thing, leave it in the luggage. You'll never forget it. You'll never mix it up with your home one. You just eliminate any chance for problems if you just duplicate some of your stuff.
Yeah, I've started to go back on team duplication. I know Marie Kondo says that that's a no-no, but Marie is not packing for me, so I have to.
She's not packing for you, yeah.
Marie, you're not going to come back for me, so I just am going to have my travel stuff. I have some things that are travel specific. Something that's kind of complicated is, again, no 2 trips are alike, so different things have different needs. So I have you know me, I love my containers, so I have so many containers. I have a Calpac, very thick, honestly kind of too thick, toiletry pouch thing that like opens up like wide, and you can have like these 2 compartments, and that's great if you're doing like crazy shit. It's like, oh, I have to like wash my hair, and also I'm gonna be out so long that I want the option to like shave my legs, and also maybe I'm going to like a wedding or something, so I want to have the option to have like more makeup and stuff like that. So it's good for like, that's like the heavy duty one in my mind, but that lives in my a lot of stuff lives in my duffel bag, because by nature of like the type of traveling that I sometimes do, like sometimes I will do a 1 day like for work, like to San Francisco or something, in which case I really try not to do a suitcase. It's like 1 day you can't figure it out, like that's a skill issue. So I keep all my travel stuff in my duffel bag because it's just easier to like get out and get into. And then like I sort of dump all that and then kind of rebuild from like those pieces. So like those pieces include like the heavy duty toiletry container that I like rarely take but sometimes do. It has my compression socks in there, which is something that I bought for when I went to Germany. It has, what else is in there? A bunch of the I finally got onto like the storage bags. They're not quite packing cubes because they don't do the compression element, but I have the Baggu like bags that you can like fold your clothes into. Those have been a game changer because it just turns all your stuff into shapes, and it also makes it easier to categorize stuff. It's like, okay, this is like the jeans bag, the pants bag. This is like my comfy clothes, or like, this is where all my socks and underwear are, kind of thing. So I like that a lot. That's been awesome. Those are in there. I have some stuff that lives forever as travel stuff. I have you got me for Christmas, I think, a few years ago, a Dagny Dover carry-on duffel bag that I really wanted. That thing has been awesome. I've been wanting to do like a review or something on TikTok about it. It's great. I have very few notes. My only note on it is inherently a duffel bag, and I do wish that it had like a backpack conversion option, because carrying it like on its own, like that thing can get heavy if you really pack it. I'm usually just rolling on a suitcase or not holding it for that long, so it's not that deep. But I would love, like, it would be like an all-timer if it could also convert into a backpack. It does not, but it's awesome. It's got a million different little compartments. It's just like so great. I love it. And they sell other travel stuff. I bought like a container thing, like a zip pouch that has all my tech in it, my travel tech. So it has like a USB-C charger. It has an emergency pair of wired headphones. That's is
pretty good.
Probably the biggest tip I can give anybody. Like, and then if you have an Apple device, include the dongle for like if you need it to plug in or whatever. But that's great because wired headphones can just like easily work with anything. Like, have you ever tried to sync Bluetooth on the plane to a device? It's like impossible. To get the AirPods working on the Steam Deck. I'm paying for the in-flight Wi-Fi to Google how to sync headphones to Steam Deck. Like, so I think that's like a big piece of advice I give people. But yeah, that's kind of the stuff that I have. Luggage, standard stuff. I have like a base set of luggage that I got a year or two ago. Loving that. Big one, carry-on. Low-key, the carry-on's too big. No one has caught on. Don't worry about it. A question I want to ask you now is, how do you handle entertainment when on the go?
I used to be a person who talk about preparing ahead of time. I'd be the dude who has their iPad, go on Netflix, download like 18 movies and shows that you're never going to get through, or like even the in plane kind of screen on the chair in front of you, right? Like you plug in your wired headphones and just watch a movie there of whatever, like the latest thing. I feel like movies always come to airplanes somehow quicker than they do regular home streaming, but whatever, right? I'd watch Spider-Man No Way Home or something like that, or something like just a classic.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, right? Like, something just in a plane, I'm not doing anything else. Or even better is like a movie that I maybe saw a trailer for at one point, thought it was interesting, but did not want to spend the like $25 to see it in theaters. Like I saw, I think, what is it called? Like Jerry and Marge Go Large. I saw that on a plane, and it's like, yeah, I wanted to see this, but I'm not going to do it in theaters. And I missed it, at home and streaming, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm on a plane. I got nothing to do. I got 3 hours to kill. Why not put on this movie? Now I think I am similar, but like a much more tamed version of that, right? Where now I'm more likely to download like a movie or a 2 or 3 episodes of a show if I'm watching like a TV show at the time. Much more likely to rewatch something on a plane in their their library of movies, or find something new. There was a time where I caught my Marvel movies that way and my DC movies that way, or just even download an album for offline use and just put those on, put my headphones on, just close my eyes. Podcasts, I'll do those every now and then, but I don't download like gigabytes and gigabytes of data of entertainment. I'm much more kind of go with the flow. Even now I kind of just keep some albums downloaded on my phone just already.
Yeah.
And I'm even fine just kind of like going in with that at a moment's notice,
How many things are you bringing? You kind of touched on this a little bit, but like, is the iPad always showing up? Is it, what are you doing for like consoles? Obviously this might be dependent on the kind of trip, but if you just run me through like, what are you generally bringing? And also what determines what you're bringing?
Yeah. Like you said, it really does depend on the trip, right? Like a GC or PAX, I'm probably going to lean more towards bringing at least a Steam Deck or a Switch, right? Just some sort of gaming device so that I can have it with me, right? It's in the moment, it's in the vibe of the trip. Outside of that, like this wedding thing, I think I brought both my laptop and my iPad. And while I technically did use my laptop because some like personal work stuff came up, I did not use it for the entertainment that I brought it for. I did not open the iPad at all. I pretty much only used my phone and my AirPods. And to be honest, that's kind of where, like, I have on my birthday list, right? My birthday's coming up. One of the things I kind of want to get is like an iPad mini, because I feel like that would be almost like a best of both worlds, where it's like it's a bigger screen than my phone, right? Like I can view things more easily if I'm like on a train or in a plane or on a bus or something like that. But and I can do it without draining my phone's battery. That's really like the biggest con of just using my phone, is that like, well, that's just one battery that I have. If my phone's battery lasted, how I feel like phone batteries used to last, I'd probably just be straight phone, have everything on one device, one AirPods, you don't have to sync or do any of that stuff. Like it'd be all just cool. But we don't live in that world yet.
Yeah, I kind of messed up on this Chicago trip because I didn't bring any portable chargers, which ended up being fine, but it was like my phone did die. Like I was like, we got off the plane and I'm like, yeah, you have to tap for like me for venture because I don't have my phone. And obviously I definitely would have brought the chargers if I wasn't traveling with you, but I'm like, there's two people. I know the city really well too. I'm like, I'm not too worried about it. And I did have a charger, but like so many planes are really inconsistent with like being able to charge. So like the chargers are the other thing that I normally do bring. And I have one that's MagSafe and one that's like you plug it into the bottom, which is really great too, because the MagSafe can be just like used by anybody. So in general, like I love bringing that one around, even if it's like, even just in my day-to-day life, it can be nice to like, oh, someone needs a charger and you can like offer them the MagSafe one, it'll work no matter what their phone is for the most part. Yeah, I have started, there's some exceptions to this, because there are sometimes where I like need to bring my Steam Deck. Maybe I'm really like, I really need to play this game a bit for work and it's on there. Or maybe I'm just like enjoying a game a lot and it happens to just be on Steam Deck. And I'm, like a Slay the Spire too. But honestly, maybe this is a conversation for a different episode, even though I feel it's more of a me thing than a you thing, but maybe there's some crossover. I've gotten so into like gaming on my MacBook, like my MacBook Air. I've just been, actually, is it mine an Air? It might not be an Air. Okay. I game on that thing like a lot, actually. Like that's mostly, the main way I play Slay the Spire 2 is on my laptop, which I know is weird because people always forget that like people game on a Mac and it's seen as like I guess you could play a game on an Apple device, but like, why would you? I've loved it for a number of reasons, which again, maybe we'll say this for a later episode, but it's really cool because you can do the double duty of like looking stuff up, doing work stuff. There's just like so many things I enjoy doing more on a laptop than I do on like an iPad. I do have the iPad keyboard, which like if I'm doing GDC, a thing where it's like very much going to talks and taking notes, I bring the iPad with the keyboard because that just fits easier in my bag and it's lighter than the laptop. Laptop's doing a little too much for that. So, but for the most part, I try to subscribe to what is the smallest, lightest, easiest thing I can bring with me, because I might not use it because I am a chronic napper for the plane. People always ask, can you sleep on a plane? And the answer for me is abso-fucking-lutely. I can sleep on a plane, and I probably will sleep on the plane. For you, are you sleeping on the plane a lot? I know obviously it might depend on the flight. Like you have to kind of sleep on a red eye, but like, to what degree is it easy for you to sleep on a plane? And then like, how often are you napping when it's like, it's not really an overnight, but just like a longer flight?
Longer like coast to coast flights, I'll maybe do like a nap. And by that I mean like, it's like 5+ hours, right? Like literally going from like California to New York or something like that. For the most part though, I'm not a plane sleeper. There's something about, I'm a bigger guy, and God forbid I have to be in the middle seat. I'm just uncomfortable the whole time. I feel like I'm squished up and my shoulders are at my ears and I'm maybe watching something on my tiny phone. It's just not a good environment to try and sleep. If it's like a late flight, or if I'm with you and I got like a window or an aisle seat or something like that, I prefer the window just because, again, I'm a bigger guy. I can lean my head against the window. That's a little bit more comfortable for me. Maybe then I'll, close my eyes for a part of the trip, or again, put like an album on and just like go to sleep to it or something like that. Especially if we're going to be doing something once we land, I want to kind of get some sort of rest in. But like, unlike you, I do not like or prefer or enjoy sleeping on a plane. It is a like, I guess if I have to, I will. It is not I am going to choose to do this by choice kind of thing.
Yeah, I power down like a machine for the most part. The only time I've had a hard time sleeping on the plane is, frankly, the trip we just took, because we went as frugal as possible, which included not like sitting together for the first time in like ever, I think. Which was funny because you realize, I was like, how much extra is it? Because I'm like, $20-$30, even 50. It's like, man, it seems probably worth it. You're like, oh, it's like 100 to hundreds, especially with like going back. I was like, oh, we do see each other a lot, but yeah, it definitely was whack. And I felt broke doing it. I felt lesser having had that experience. But the other con, as I underestimated how much I need your shoulder to lean on to be able to sleep. Or at least, if I had the window, it would have been definitely a lot better because I can just lean on the window. But without that, I'm like, I'm kind of just trying to make sure I'm not leaning on a stranger's shoulder. So I had a hard time sleeping, a harder time sleeping than normal. But, I got the neck pillow, I got the eye mask. And
you really do
out.
have like gear. Like you come prepared.
Yeah. Yep. Just wait. I'm going to get the silk scarf next for my hair. Y'all not ready for this. I even had, it's funny because I had my mask on. I like to wear my mask on the plane. One, because of the germs, but two, it's kind of nice to just like have the warmth of the mask in a way. So I like that. But I had to take it off because when you combined it with like the eye mask, I really felt like I was suffocating. I really did, because the way it kind of closed the mask more, I was like, I literally am going to pass out. I can't do this. So I try to keep the entertainment light. I always bring more than I need. Even on this trip to Chicago, I had my laptop. I feel like I had a gaming thing, but now I don't remember what that was.
You brought your...
Maybe I didn't bring a gaming thing. Oh, my Switch.
Yeah.
I brought my Switch too, because I'm like, oh, this gives me some options, and it's like fairly small and light compared to the Steam Deck, and you have the a really cool option of, since you can take the Joy-Con off, it's a lot easier to pack, because like in a lot of trips, something funky that I have to think of specifically is like, what's the bag purse situation? A lot of times in regular life, it's like you can have these different bags for different outfits and different things you need to do, but like when you're traveling, one bag, two, like it's like, it's at a certain point it gets kind of like, it's a little too much. Same thing with the shoes, another challenge of traveling, where it's like, oh, like ideally you'd have different shoes, but like I kind of just don't want. So I put like my purse in my carry-on, and then I put stuff in the purse to like fill out the shape, and also just like have stuff organized so that the Switch can fit in there when I like deconstruct it. So I had that, but I also brought my book that I didn't read. So it's like, it's just, that's why like one of my dreams for like the e-reader, but I'm not letting myself get an e-reader until I start reading more. Is like the ease of like taking that around and stuff is going to be really nice. But yeah, I try to keep it light. Initially I was going to bring my PSP on this. That was my whole plan. But then there was something on the Switch that I was like into and playing. I don't know. I wanted the Switch for some reason. I don't really remember what it was at the time.
Is this the Animal
Crossing? I ended up playing Animal Crossing New Horizons because I started that over in Spanish, but that wasn't my initial plan. I think I was just like, the Switch will take me where I need to go. I do have some games on there that I'm playing. So I think I was just like, I'm just going to go with the Switch. Yeah. Now, as far as, we do a lot of red eyes. How has that been for you? Do you feel like you still have faith in the red eye, or are you... This last trip kind of was pushing me into retirement a little bit. I did feel like, is this my last... Am I, I feel a little bit like the LeBron of red eyes, where it's like, I've been holding really strong.
Yeah.
But is this my last season?
Is
By the time we got home, I felt okay with it, but it did feel... It was kind of gnarly going into it.
Yeah. I don't love it. I used to, kind of like you said, like I used to be, oh yeah, sure, it's easy way to save some money. You don't miss out on any time. Like I can do stuff at home, and then I travel during the night, and then I can do stuff the next day, like when I land. It seemed, for a while, it was the best of both worlds. Now I think, like you said, getting to a point where it's like, I'm just going to spend a little bit more and just either travel early or travel late, but sleep in a bed. Like, just because my, like, neck and shoulders get cramped on planes and stuff. Like, or if I do a red eye, like, maybe splurge for that, like, extra room seats or something. Like, I don't think I can cheap out the way we did last time again. Like, I think that
at the same time though, like it's so hard because there's like so many nice ways to travel, but like look at that price and I'm like, what am I really getting?
Yeah.
From point A to B?
But
I don't know about that.
It is nice though. Like you do it costs more, but they do make it better.
I know, I hate that. It's funny because like we did this red eye to Chicago, and with the time difference and the thing that really like ruins the red eye is the fact that like you can't check in for so late. So it's like we got to Chicago at like local time like 6 a.m. and it's like check-ins at 3. It's like, oh my god, like, you know, okay. And then we got an earlier check-in, but it was like it was kind of a pain in the ass. And literally like it was so rough at certain parts that I was like, what if we bought the most expensive ticket to Japan and the whole budget just went to, because we have that Japan trip coming up later, we haven't booked it yet. Yeah, but at the same time, like I know I'm not going to, because it's just too much money. It's just too much money. But we also get kind of caught in a tight bind like anyone else who's traveling, because something about the way they do flights, they're like, you can leave really late where you like have none of the day, or you can leave obscenely early. What do you want? And it's like, I don't want any of those actually. So I don't know, not a lot of lunchtime flights I feel like going off.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I still have some faith in the red eye. I definitely would never do a red eye with a child, I don't think. And I hate saying never because I feel like the world is cursed that if you say, I'm never going to do this, like something ends up happening and then you do it. I mean, maybe with like an older child that can like handle it a little bit more. But the idea, like the pain we went through with like coming back and them delaying the flight and they sent us over from O'Hare to Midway, I was like, the thought, like, because I would hear like other people's kids be like, mom, da-da-da. And I was like, literally, I do not have it.
Yeah.
I do not have it.
Doing that and having to like carry another small backpack or like push a stroller or anything like
and someone asking
that
for
would be
snacks.
my
I can really handle me asking for snacks.
Yeah,
I like really couldn't. I really can't.
I had to get you emergency popcorn on this flight home.
I was really out of it. I was done. I was fed up. Yeah. Other elements that go into the travel, the Airbnb versus hotel. How have things evolved over time for you? Which one do you favor? In which situation are you picking one over the other?
I think as a like young adult, like college, you know, end of high school, beginning college, like any trip we were doing or anything like that, it was all about saving the most money, right? Airbnb and hotels weren't even a consideration. It was like, whose couch can I stay on, right? Like, who do I have a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, someone who I can just like crash for the night while I'm in town? Then, you know, you get a little bit older, you got to be a little bit more independent, blah, blah, blah. Then it's like, all right, cool, we'll upgrade to Airbnb, you know? Like, I think like one of our first trips together, we did Hawaii and we did Seattle. Both of those we stayed at Airbnbs, just because like financially it just made more sense. You get more room, you get more space for the same amount of money, blah blah blah. We also
had like a group in both of
those are also both like group trips kind of thing, so it made the most sense. And then I think I forget what it was, but I had one of those like experiences with Airbnb where like the host wants you to do this like huge checklist of things, and then you got to pay the cleaning fee, but they also want you to clean, and you got to do this and do that. And it was like, at this point, I'm just gonna stay at a hotel. And then I went all in on the hotels. I went, you know, I'm Team Hilton for now, at least, you know, get my points. I know you're always talking about the points. I try to book with the Hilton whenever we travel. We had some other like wedding trips where we went to New York, we went to Florida, we went, you know, here and there. And it's like, yeah, cool. I'm just going to stay at the hotel. Hotel's great. You check in, something's wrong, you go to a front desk, they give you a whole new room. There's no fighting, no issues or anything like that. You have a service person that you could just go to and say, hey, this is wrong, or hey, something's wrong, or, you know, oh, I need help or whatever. It's great. When you leave, I leave my tip for the housekeeping, right? Making sure I'm taking care of my people. And then that's it, right? I'm not going in. I'm not throwing food on the wall or like making a huge mess just for like someone to clean up. Like, I'm a normal, decent human being. But also, like, I am leaving. I have a plane to catch. Like, the last thing I want to do is then worry about like this cleaning checklist of things. Like, there's just conveniences at a hotel that almost like the seat thing. It's like you pay a little bit more usually, but it's just a nicer experience. And I think I'm at the point where I'm trying to do that.
The gap between the two is a lot closer than it used to be. I feel like when Airbnb first dropped, it's like, do you want to spend $30 or $300 at a hotel? And it's like, oh wow, the Airbnb is great. I definitely think Airbnb has like lost a lot of its cachet. It feels like the price isn't as good as it used to be, and like just what you get doesn't feel as good as it used to be. Or maybe it's just like we kind of got sick of some of the annoyances that came with Airbnb, like that you had mentioned. Because like when Airbnb first dropped, I was like an Airbnb warrior, and now I'm like very much into the hotels. I do think Airbnb is really cool for those larger groups because you can all like kind of be together, and that's nice. And like, you know, we had an Airbnb when we did the Mid-Max Minnesota trip. Like that makes sense, and it was fun. You can, you know, film our content. Our hype house for the week or whatever was super cool. You know, it can be nice to get like a very specific location and stuff. And also you can a whack Airbnb is like so much better than a whack hotel, because a whack hotel is a motel and like the motels brew up, you know, versus like we've had really on paper whack Airbnbs, but like they end up being pretty solid. Like the my favorite one for like budget friendly one is still like the one we did our first time in LA. We were here for a wedding that was in Palm Springs, and we just had like a room. I think it had an ensuite private bathroom, but it was like super chill. It was exactly what we needed. We didn't spend a lot of time in there anyway. The host was chill. There was a cat. The cat was soft. I don't think his name was Yogurt. That's the cat we saw at the PetSmart the other day. But like he had a kind of fun name like that, and it was just like, everything on that trip was great, and it was just a nice, fun time. But that's kind of more of a rarity in a way, I think. Yeah, so I'm definitely like team hotel for the most part. I think Airbnb can also be fun though for like hyper specific experiences. Like and also sometimes hotels aren't in certain places. Like I'm guessing that when we go to Joshua Tree, we'll probably stay at a nice like Airbnb. And again, they can be nice and cool and fun, but sometimes it is just kind of you're with someone who like they've created a business in sharing their home, but they hate you for it. Yeah. And they make you feel like, can you do this? It's like, okay, like you need to let it go. Like if you're going to be in this business venture a little bit.
I do. One thing I haven't done yet, and I am tempted to do it the next time. I almost thought of doing it on our trip back from Chicago, is actually skipping the Uber and Lyft and just doing a taxi again. Seeing like, hey man, I know,
I've done that.
Like, I feel like taxis might have also might be the hotel to the Airbnb. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, I don't have to wait. There's a taxi here right now, ready to pick me up and take me where I gotta go. You know, why am I making this app tell me I gotta wait here? I gotta go to this specific spot and hope that the person sees me and flags me down and do this and that. Like, maybe the taxi is the way to go now. I might try that.
At least from LAX, it is basically the same. There's probably a slight price difference, but it kind of swings in either direction at any point. Like, you know, with where we are, it's going to be about like, you know, $100, and like in the taxi, it's about $100. It's like, it's kind of about the same. The taxi might be a little bit more money than the Uber typically, especially because you have those ranges that you can pick. But because I forget how much ours was. Maybe it wasn't like 100. Maybe it was less. I feel like it wasn't that bad.
To get home this past trip, I think it was like 50 something, $60.
Yeah, so it probably is cheaper than the taxi, because I have a vague memory of it being like $100, but like you just jump in and it's fine. And like, you know, you do it so infrequently. It also gets to that point where, and that's the funny thing, like the secret cost of the red eye, like we kind of, something that I think in a way we didn't fully account for, or we didn't make enough effort, is like, well, we saved some money on the red eye, but then we lost a bit of money eating at the airport before, because we didn't time it where we could even, you know? Yeah. And it's like little things that would crop up that kind of like cut into the savings. Yeah. Even like little stuff during the trip, like we were running late for my friend's wedding, so it's like, oh, we'll just do like the Lyft instead of the CTA. And it's like, that's like a little bit more than what it would have been, you know? And this was like a rarity anyway, because it was really close. So that's even why we were considering it. Obviously, we don't normally want to, I think, ride a train in like semi-formal wear, but it's like, whatever. So it's like that was also another layer where it's like, you know, you're also taking some risks. I mean, nothing will probably happen, but like, God forbid, like you ruin your clothes like on your way there. We took it on the way home to the Airbnb, because it's like, okay, any L's that happen like are in the privacy of my own domain. We touched on it a little bit with this, like all the delays that we had on the way back from Chicago, but any other highlights or lowlights Worst travel moments that we've had.
Man, yeah. This past trip, man, I feel like a lot of this episode is just me coming to the realization that, like, man, I should just spend the money on quality instead of trying to just cheap out and save money.
Think of all the savings that we've had.
Yeah. My carry-on luggage handle broke this this
I
trip.
forgot about that.
Like the like wheeling handle, like the one that kind of extends out and then you like use it to kind of like push and push your luggage with you through the airport and everything. Like that one broke. Like it totally just like snapped off, and it felt very random. Like it wasn't like, oh, it fell off of, you know, the shelf, or, you know, the commuter bus, or like it tipped over.
Or like, you know how you lift it sometimes from there even though you're not supposed to? It wasn't like you were lifting it and then it snapped during the lift.
I was just moving it. Like I was just pushing it and it snapped off. And like, this wasn't like a super expensive bag, right? Like I think I got it from like Marshall's. I think I got that, and then the bigger check bag size. I think together it was like $60-$70 or something like that, like on sale. But like, I don't know. I got that thing maybe a year and a half ago. Like, and I haven't gone on that many trips. I'm not like a world-class traveler out here. Like, it maybe has been on, I don't know, 4 or 5 trips.
Me standing with my influencer luggage.
Yeah.
Feeling superior.
And so now I'm like trying to tie my jacket around the lifting handle, or like I'm just bending over, I'm just carrying my luggage like it's a briefcase.
You did MacGyver it pretty nicely. And shout out to you for maintaining a level of sanity, because I'm not gonna lie, I was worried. I said people have gone down for less. I don't know how he's gonna make it.
Yeah, man, like it wasn't a good time. And so now I'm like, all right, you know what? My birthday's around the corner. Let me look up some of the more. Just like, I have a aunt who's a flight attendant. Love her. I hit her up. I was like, hey, what are you using? Like, you travel professionally. Like, your career is traveling, getting on and off planes, putting luggage in and out of storages and everything like that. Like, what do you recommend? And she sent me a message back. So I'm going to take a look at some of the stuff she said. But one of the ones that I think I'm landing on is like a nicer, higher quality, supposed to be like really well made and a really good like warranty. If something goes wrong, you could take it to the store, they'll fix it, kind of thing. Kind of luggage bag. So I might give that a shot, because at this point it's rough. It's rough being it's so expensive being cheap.
Yeah, I mean, the suitcase no one could have really predicted, but it is kind of a it was rough. It was a rough go. Like, it could happen to anyone, but it did happen to you.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I
Yes.
don't know. Yeah, I've never had luggage break on me. I don't know how much I was using my old one though. It's not the first. Yeah.
No, I've had it happen before. You know, again, you buy cheap. I go to Walmart, I get something. I'm just traveling one time, and then one time turns into 6.
See, for me, I love a nice little thing. So I finally, like, I didn't get good luggage until a few years ago when I got this. Actually, I might be able to look up when I got it just through the YNAB or whatever, because I had been like thinking for the longest, like, because a lot of my luggage starting out was like luggage that my dad gave me that like he wasn't using. He's like, here's my old suitcase, and it's like that's what I used. And eventually I'm like, you know, what if we got like a nice also there's just something about having like luggage that you pick out that's like good and nice. Honestly, it wasn't that long ago that I got this. I felt like it was longer. I got it April 2024.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's not that old.
No.
So we'll see. My handle might be breaking next.
Yeah, I hope not.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, that was an L. We've had we had one flight where we missed our flight, and then was that the same one where we slept on the airport floor? That was a different flight, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the same one. That was rough.
That was the same one. Okay, yeah. So that was difficult.
We have flights that get canceled or delayed, like in this past trip where it's like we were at O'Hare waiting for our flight. We got there early, got there on time. Flight keep getting pushed back. Eventually, we go up to the people. We're like, hey, like, can you just get us on a different flight? And they're like, yeah, but you got to go to Midway, which is like a different airport, kind of across town, is I think fair to say, right?
Yes.
You know, and so it's like, all right, well, now there's the expense of getting to this other airport. Can we do that on time? Make sure we're getting it. Thank God we didn't have checked bags. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it would have been.
And that was another, like, do I want to save or do I want to like be sane? So it's like I need to be sane. I think we need to get in the Uber, even though it's like, oh, you can do it all through CTA. It's like, yeah, but like I gotta go all the way down to like the loop and then transfer to the orange line and then take the orange line all the way to the end of the day. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I was so tired. We also we had to get up so early for the flight that then got delayed, and we went to bed like pretty late. So it's like we barely slept really. Yeah. So it was a rough go. See, other things to touch on that might be all like kind of the main components. For the most part, yeah. I want to. We should touch a little bit on like brighter days ahead, like some travel goals we have.
Yeah.
One idea. It's not really a goal. I guess it's kind of a goal. I'm really excited for our Japan trip, and with the attempt to travel very light, because I want to buy a lot of stuff when we're there. But I also want to be careful that I'm not like traveling so light that it's like, Isaiah, we need to buy pants today because I only bought one pair of pants. I don't want it to be that extreme, but I want to like have kind of a level of it. But I also have the idea of finally doing I want to do the Sudoku packing method. I've never tried where it's like you put, it's like bottoms, tops, layers. Just look it up and you'll find like graphics on it. And it's basically like you can make all these different outfits by like matching them in all these ways. So I think I'm going to try that. But what about you? What are some travel goals and dreams you have?
I think short term, there's I will say I did get influenced by those like vacuum bags that I've been seeing on TikTok, where like you put your outfits in there and then you like vacuum the air out and it like compresses down and you could fit so many like outfits on your carry-on kind of thing. I do think I want to get that. I tried to find we use something similar like that just for like house storage, like blankets and sheets and towels and things like that. And they work, I think, pretty well. So one dedicated to kind of like travel seems kind of cool. But in that same vein, I have the goal of traveling naked. Like not physically naked, but like no bag, no check bag, no carry-on, just like me and what's in my pocket, right? Like again, we talked about, if I could, I just have my phone and my headphones. I just want to walk into the airport with nothing in my hands, phone and headphones, go wherever I'm going, sit down, do whatever, and then leave. Like get off the plane, I'm just off. I don't have to wait for a bag. I don't got to pick anything out of the overhead. We're just raw dogging the flight. Like, I want to try that.
I want to do that too. Like, I also want to do this can be dangerous because it can be hell if you like don't do it right. But kind of in a similar vein, we travel in the morning and then we just like come back at night, like out and back in the day. Yeah. Of like, I'll make up an example. Today we're gonna spend the day in San Diego. We're gonna wake up early and go to the airport. And then just kind of like, hang out there. And then after dinner, we're going back to the airport to fly home. Something obviously close enough to make it so that you don't feel strained by like the trip in a way. I want to do that.
I think almost in the same vein, doing that, maybe like a weekend out of it. But like, I don't even know if you could do this anymore. But like, there used to be the thing maybe in like the 90s and the early aughts where it's like, you just go to like the I'm not teller. They're not like bank tellers, but like the check-in people, right? Like you go to the airport and you get your ticket at the airport. Like, hey, I want to go somewhere. What flights do you have?
Oh, standby.
Not even standby. Just like, I guess maybe it could be standby, but like you just go and you're like, hey, like I want to go somewhere. What flights are in the next hour and a half that have open seats? And you just buy your ticket there and you just get on and you go. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna spend my weekend now in San Diego or in Arizona or wherever like the next kind of just cheap flight that's taken off is.
We need everyone kind of needs this, but who can manage it in our capitalist society? But like we need like a month off to like bullshit. I just want to bullshit around. But it's like that's what's tough too. It's like you have to it's hard to fit in being like so free when it's like, or we can meticulously plan and save and do all these other things. So yeah, that would be fun. Other travel stuff, I mean, obviously I want to do some more overseas stuff, go to Italy, this, that, and the third. But I think I also just want to go to like some more stuff like around here. Like definitely going to Mexico is high on my list. Seeing some soccer games over there and all of that. And also just like stuff that's, I think we definitely should revisit more like local, like just California stuff. Like there's so many places in California we haven't been.
Yeah.
Like I really loved when we were in Palm Springs, like, and that was really
that was nice.
Yeah, I want to do more. I want to do more, as you call them, vacations.
Yeah. Yeah, no trips,
like, we don't really,
no adventures.
We have not had a vacation in a while, even
minute.
a small one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've just been trips and adventures. And Japan's going to be awesome, but that will be an adventure, not a vacation. It'll have some vacation pockets, but it will mostly be an adventure. It's like, get your fucking steps up. For people that forgot, the differentiate. Can you run people through the three pillars?
Yeah. So there's a trip, which is kind of like an obligatory traveling, right? Like, a wedding, a graduation, a funeral, something like that, where it's like, hey, like I'm traveling because I really need to be at this event thing. Work trips are also like kind of included in that for the most part. Then there's vacations or let's do adventures. Then there's adventures, which are like trips that you are embarking on, but you are embarking with like a self-imposed plan. Like there are core things that you're looking to do that like you're booking in advance, that you are centering your whole travel around to some degree.
They're also usually big step days. It's like if you have a lot of those 20K step days, like you're probably on an adventure.
Yeah, like the Japan honeymoon, that's definitely an adventure, right? Like you want to go sightseeing, you want to do these things while you're there, and that's like very much a part of that event. Like you're on an adventure, and then there's vacation, which is you are traveling, and as minimally as possible, you have nothing planned, you have no obligations, you are more going with the flow in all regards, right? Like usually a cruise is kind of a big one. That's like an easy vacation where it's like, well, once you're on the boat, you can't do anything. Maybe you want to eat, maybe you want to swim, maybe you want the entertainment, maybe you want to do nothing. You just want to sit on the deck all day. You go to a beach or something like that. Like those are vacations. You have nothing, no time, no schedule that you're looking to hit.
Yeah, and you're mostly doing nothing is kind of the thing where it's like when you tell people what you did, it's mostly going to be, I relaxed.
Yeah.
Like you're not really going to have like I saw Beyonce perform. Like that can happen on a vacation. But now you're starting to push to
into
adventure,
things.
I feel
Yeah,
like.
you can stumble into things on a vacation, but it would have to be you stumbling. You can't have an itinerary if you're on vacation. You know what I mean?
Like you kind of shouldn't have done anything. It's kind of the mark of a vacation. Which like when we first got together, that was very hard for me to even entertain as a thought, because I had such a scarcity mindset and I hadn't traveled very much for many reasons. Like vacation trip, whatever you want to call it, I was not doing it before being with you. But also like that's around the time that I started like working more in the games industry, which is an industry that does allow you to do a lot of work trips, which is if you're lucky. Not everyone can do that, but I've gotten the opportunity, which is great, but also makes it so that I am less like overfilling my plate, where it's like take a good look around because we're not coming back. It's like no, we can probably come back. It's like, okay, I guess I don't have to totally like do everything all the time. But I also think it's very area based for me. Like I don't without being like rich and like real rich, like we're not debating that I'm rich, without being like rich, I don't think I'd want to do like, we live in LA, we're flying to Paris on a vacation, unless, I don't know, it's a very specific like resort or something like that. It's like I kind of want to do an adventure if I'm going somewhere far out. That's why I think California is such a great spot for vacation potential for us, because we already live here. We can drive to a lot of places, so it's not as much of a like I spent a lot of money to sit on a beach, because it's like, well, if we're gonna do that, man, let's pick a closer beach, because then you're gonna have your cake and eat it too a bit. Any other final words for people embarking on their next odyssey?
No.
Bon voyage.
Yeah, happy travels, right? Stay safe. I love that I was literally talking about this at work with coworkers, where it's like one of the few silver linings that came out of the pandemic is like the prevalence and acceptance of like masks during travel and things like that. Like I am much more likely to not only bring a mask myself for a plane, but also just see other people wearing a mask, right? Even if you're not sick, even if you don't have a cold, just precautionary things, right? Like, staying healthy. I hate coming back from a trip, from any sort of travel, and then being sick, or traveling and then getting somewhere and then being sick. So like, just take care of yourself, right? Take some vitamins, do your zinc, do your airborne, have your sort of go-to.
I want to get in on that that other one. I forgot the name of it, but I was seeing people it's like some supplement for your immune system. I don't know if it works. Everyone in Denver had it, and they're all like doctors that we were with, and I was like, what do they know? What? I was peeping. I'm like, what are y'all taking over there? You got the secret medicine? Yeah, I forgot what it's called. It's like, you just over the counter kind of thing.
Yeah.
One quick thing I want to allude to that I forgot to say is obviously, it costs potentially money because I have the privilege of just being like freelance and, you're salaried, so you have a little bit more flexibility as well. But like for a lot of people, if they're not working, they're not making money, which is actually also kind of true for me, depending on where the job is. But, I say all this to say taking time off of work is not necessarily free for a lot of people. But if you can swing it, I'm a big fan of the day off, the day after you land, regardless of what time you land, just to kind of reset. It can be multi-purpose. Like, even if you want to use it just to like get the laundry done, to kind of, it can be hard for me to like reset the apartment coming back from a trip. Especially because like I have these dreams always of like, I'm going to leave it really clean. Then I'm going to come back and it's going to be perfect. But really I leave it the way I left it. And then I come back and I make it a little worse. Like that's usually the reality. Yeah. So I really enjoy, stuff like that. Or even just like, we got our massage like a day or two after coming back because we were both kind of feeling it a bit. Something like that can be really nice. I love and heavily look forward to us coming back and having like our first meal in LA. And it's nothing fancy. It's a lot of our go-to spots are just like fast food adjacent. They're quick like taco trucks or, chill chains or whatever. But being able to like have that meal, relax at home, and just feel like to make being home its own treat, I think is a great trip booster. So that's something that I recommend to people.
Yeah.
All right. And that brings us to Pull of the Show.
Pull the show.
Pull the show. Pull the show. Last episode, we asked your thoughts on a couple different things. We had asked questions about what task tracking methods or organization approaches have you used before, your history with task trackers, and then also for Not Games, we were asking about like sports. We talked a lot about, the casual consumption or focused consumption of sports. Isaiah, what did the people have to say?
Yeah, so for the task tracking and organization approach, turns out that Pomodoro method and Kanban boards are pretty popular amongst our audience.
What's a Kanban board?
Think like Trello, like moving Trello cards down boards.
Okay.
And then the bullet journal and eating the frog methodology are kind of the two least favorites amongst everyone, which is pretty funny. I would have thought eating the frog would be like kind of up there for a lot of people. For those who don't know, eating the frog is kind of like doing the biggest, hardest thing first, so that then everything after it is like easier. It's almost like a little mental perspective trick to get yourself to do more. And then as far as like other trackers and things that people really liked or disliked, someone wrote in and said they just downloaded Spirit Sessions, the lo-fi Spirit Sessions game that we were talking about. They're excited to try it. We have Kanban board is a big mix. They have like ADHD, and so sometimes just having a physical thing to interact with is really nice. And then they're a big fan of the last minute panic and shame spirals for just like basically the crunch that we all have felt at one point or another in our lives.
I've really started to try to move away from that so bad because I'll get so sick of stuff eating at me, and then I get so humbled also by how quick all the things can get done as well. Yep. But it's hard to make time for stuff. I had some stuff from this week that I wanted to do that does not take a long time at all, but I just could not get the time in for it because I'm like, I would rather, and obviously I'm kind of being dramatic, but like I've been still all in on the Pomodoro method. It's been working for me really well. I really like it a lot. But I've been kind of assigning like, Pomodoro style. It's like, okay, this one I'm writing, I feel like I got my article up on the Tamagotchi that I want to write. So it's like, okay, I'm writing. I've started mixing in some house Pomodoros in with like the big chunks because it's like, how do I chip away at stuff, but also like have time after work to like relax and like enjoy my evening a little bit. And the privilege of working from home, I'm like, well, let me try to like do some stuff. But like, if I get too caught up on the house stuff, it's like, well, a lot of stuff for the house got done, but you didn't really do any work, and no, the work. So I'm trying to kind of like blend that more. And yeah, it's tough to get some of those little things. Like I know those could also get their own Pomodoro, but it's like I only got so many Pomodoros to be handing out. I'm not, So yeah, it's tough. But I'm trying to avoid those. Yeah, it's going okay. It could be better. The piano's a mess, but I'm gonna get it together this week.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yes,
I'm there. I'm supporting you.
It's tough too because I always ask. So this is like not off topic. I always ask you like, can you help me? Can you stay on my ass about this piano thing? And I don't know if it's because you're too nice, but you've never been on my ass about anything. Like you're like allergic to bugging me about stuff. I don't know why, but I'm just giving up on asking you.
Yeah. Well, because usually when you're not doing it, it's because like we're watching a show together or playing a game together. Like we're spending time having fun doing something else. And it's like, well, I don't want to remind you that you got to go be doing this other thing, like I'm having fun.
You're much better at like helping me be bad than helping me be good.
Yeah,
I've kind of just accepted now. You need some of that in your life too. So it's like, yeah, I'll go to I can have Edwin bother me if I really need it, I guess. But then he's too good at it. I'm like, whoa, he holds me too accountable. I'm like, I kind of like when I'm left alone. All right, sports.
For sports,
how do people consume sports.
To be honest, hockey of all the sports is kind of the big standout amongst our community. People watching it a couple different ways. They're either watching it or watching recaps or going to events and things like that. Second behind that is basketball and soccer, which I think makes a lot more sense given our community and our topics and what we talk about. And then baseball and American football, dead last. Like no one's watching it. No one's trying to actively keep up with it or anything like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we did get one really good question for how do we feel about like other niche sports like F1, tennis tournaments, Olympics, things like that. Curious to know how you feel. Where do you land?
I generally don't care. Not like in a antagonistic way, but there's so many like additional sports niches I don't really like tap into a lot of them. I will say I did like and could see myself getting more into ice skating, like figure skating. Really loved watching that from the Winter Olympics that just happened. Alyssa Liao or Liu, I know the pronunciation has been thrown around a couple different times and she kind of accepts a lot of them, but I'm like, which one's your actual one though? Because I feel bad not saying your name correctly. But she was just so phenomenal to watch and has become such like a force of personality and like such an inspiration for like how she approaches the sport after, I think a lot of people know her story, but definitely it's worth looking. I know she did like a 60 minutes and stuff too. I want to watch some of that about how she like retired as a kid and then came back and was like, it's really like sports often has, the reason we do a lot of fiction that's like the sports stories, like they do have a lot of movie moments, but it's just real life. And I feel like she definitely had a lot of that. And I enjoy roller skating. So like ice skating is kind of like they're cousins. So I think I enjoy watching it in that way too. And it's a fun mix of like, I like the way they use music too. I'm a big music fan. So I think ice skating speaks to a lot of my interests. Yeah, it's a very cool sport. So I like that one quite a bit. And I know we're going to have the Olympics here in LA. I don't think we've secured any tickets for that. I don't know that we will secure any tickets for that. But that's something I'd like to see. Because why not? For that, I know we were like, when we submitted in to be like in the lottery that I think we inevitably lost, we were like ranking interests. And for that, I put like swimming up pretty high because, we had took those swim lessons together a few years ago. And I put like running up there. Like I am a distance runner. Haven't done it in a bit, but that was a big part of my physical like life. And I think I put in like, obviously it's like, I think there was like a version of soccer there. It's like, anything that kind of felt like, this is sort of close to something we've liked. I do think tennis is cool. I like badminton a lot. So I think if I put badminton in there, like I loved playing badminton in high school. That was like a big part of our gym class. And that was the first time I played it. We have like a racket. Isaiah named the time and place I'm dying to play. I love badminton and I never get to play. Yeah. It's also just weird because the courts are kind of funky because it's supposed to be like a high net. So it's kind of hard to find, I think, like, where can we play it and actually have the proper net? I think that's one reason we haven't really played. But yeah, those are those for me. But I'm open to kind of watching any sport, especially like live, where it's like if I got invited to see almost anything, I think I would go. The only one I think I wouldn't really want to go to is wrestling. I don't really like wrestling. Like,
wrestling it is a sport in the sense of
I know
it
it's
being
like sport attainment kind of thing.
Yeah, but it is also very much like a theater. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a world where I guess I would go, to not be rude, but it's like that's one where I would be like, I don't know about that one. Even I watched it as a kid a lot, but I kind of grew out of it. I lost a lot of interest, and now I kind of don't really like it very much because I don't really like the theatery aspect. I'm kind of anti-theater, which I know is weird because I'm a nerd who did performance poetry. It's like I should be a theater kid, but I don't know. It just never really. It hasn't stuck yet. There's still time, I suppose. What about you? What's your take on the niche sports?
Yeah. My biggest interest is less in any, like, once you get into like the niche realm of things, it's less in any particular like sport or event and more about the highlighting of individuals, right? Like, I do not care about swimming holistically, right? But I think Michael Phelps is interesting, right? I think that Katie Ledecky is interesting. Like, seeing these individuals who are just so good at their thing and like just leave the competition in the dust is just always interesting to me, right? Any time we talk about the Joey Chestnut, right? And it's like, why do I know him? Because you're right. Well, we brought up.
We had a big thing. We had a big thing of like how many people know. I remember we asked that on this podcast. We might have like, do you know Joey Chestnut?
Yeah,
because I didn't know who the fuck Joey Chestnut was, and everyone at Minmux was like, oh, he's a competitive eater. And then I thought like, well, obviously, respectfully, I'm like, this has to be just like a white white person thing. And then you're like, I know Joey Chestnut.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, now my worldview shattered.
Yeah, like. You know, these individuals
how could this be?
They're just so far and above a lot of the competition that they like stand out as almost like superhuman is interesting, right? Like,
I feel like putting Michael Phelps and then Joey Chestnut. Well, I don't know. I get you.
I want to see Michael Phelps
names,
eat
like the
79 hot dogs. All right,
the pseudo household names. I mean, that is pretty fun. Yeah, you're right. That's a great thing to point out. It's fun when like a story can emerge. In that way,
but not just like a story, right? Like, you know, Usain Bolt, right? Obviously incredible athletic, you know, was the fastest man alive. I don't know if he still holds that record or if, you know, Noah came and beat him or whoever, right? But like the difference between like watching a race, like I don't really like watching like the sprints in the Olympics because it's like, well, the winner is only going to be like literally a fraction of a second faster than this person in second, third, and fourth, right? Like, very rarely is it, you know, a 3 count between first and second. But like, again, you get into swimming, you get into these other sports where it's like that gap is now starting to really get big between some of these individuals. That's what's impressive to me, and I like following those. But yeah, so that's where I land. I also am kind of like you, or I don't like wrestling. I don't like the non-entertainment wrestling as much. I like, you know, the you know, WWE kind of wrestling. I think that's fun. It's more entertainment. I'm just not a big combatant sport person, right? Like, I don't like boxing. I don't like MMA.
Either, yeah.
I don't know. Just the idea of seeing someone get wailed on. I can appreciate like a very like, again, the craft that goes into it, right? Like, you know, the training and the reflexes and speed and everything like that. But like, I don't know, seeing someone get punched in the face, I don't know. It leaves me with a gross feeling sometimes. So
yeah, it can be a lot. I mean, I think American football suffers from that same problem, right? Like they have a lot of like issues with like the degree of the physicality of the sport. So yeah, I think that also is probably a little lower on my list. I think it's also, I find it to be, it's funny because I'm sure if I just looked up the rules, it'd be like kind of easy to follow, but I find it like a little less interesting. Like the things that happen, like, I don't know. I guess there can be like, wow, that like the knockout punch like exists, you know, in boxing, but it's like, I don't find that as like satisfying as like, I don't know, a good like serve or something in tennis, even though I don't understand that sport much either. But yeah, I think there is something to that violence factor that I didn't think about. But that was last week. Isaiah, this week, what are we asking the people?
This week, kind of stemming from our Slay the Spire 2 time, we're asking what's like your favorite self-imposed challenge. So like some people might do Pokemon Nuzlocke, some people might just do like no jump challenges in like various games or things like that. Like any sort of self-imposed challenge that you've done, what's been your favorite so far? And then on the not game side, are you team Airbnb or are you team hotel? When you're traveling, when you're given the option, what are you booking? How are you planning? What are you looking for?
Nice. And that is it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox at GamesAndNotGames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Cinco Diamantes.
And if you're an audio listener, remember that you can also get the video version over on YouTube at GamesAndNotGames. If you like the video, be sure to leave us a like and a comment, as it helps us get the show in front of more people. Also, give us a follow on social media. We're pretty much everywhere at GamesAndNotGames, but that's mainly BlueSKy, TikTok, Twitch, and Backloggd. Until next time, gang gang.
Gang gang.
Peace.